So now you've completed your level setting, so now it's time to work on the Wife Story Close Reader and chart. You will notice that this assignment isn't due until Sunday. So you have a couple days to get this done, in addition to any other work you're assigned this week. So we're going to click Load the Wife Story and a new tab, and it's going to take you to Kami. So I recommend that you have the video that I'm playing right now in one tab and split your screen and then have your Kami open on the other half of the screen. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I would, at the top where my tabs are, I would pull down the one tab and pull it to the side. And this is where I can put it on half my screen. And then I'll click where I have the video playing. This way I can listen and be working on my annotations at the same time. Fabulous! So, I'm not going to split my screen because you'll have trouble seeing what I'm doing, but I recommend for the rest of the lesson keeping both screens split. Now I'm going to open this. So, first thing we'll do is we will read the click on markup, because that's something you're going to have to do quickly, and then you're going to read the background. So, best known for her fantasy works, the Book of Earthsea series, Ursula K. Le Guin has been writing most of her life. She has written in a variety of genres, including science fiction and poetry. Growing up in Berkeley, California, Le Guin was inspired by her father, who was a writer himself. For Le Guin, writers and readers, working together, make literature meaningful. Readers, after all, are making the world with you. You give them the material, but it's the readers who build that world in their own minds. So looking at this and the background, we can tell that this will probably be a fantasy work and probably science fiction, because if we look down, we can tell that this isn't poetry. So we just highlight for ourselves, just kind of give us a purpose for reading that background. Then I want you to look at this image and make a prediction about what the story is going to be about. So you would click right here and type your prediction. Here, oops. So kind of go too fast. And then you would just press enter for your prediction to go in. So take a moment, you can pause the video if you need to. And then, as you read lines 1 through 30, begin to collect and cite text evidence. So in those first 30 lines, you're going to underline text that describes the husband. You're going to circle language that hints something bad is going to happen. And then in the margin, you're going to list the events in the narrator's story in which they occur. You'll notice that I've already put black lines throughout the text because that indicates sections. So there's always going to be a stopping point and another question or task to do after you've reached that point. So let's do the first 30 lines together. So he was a good husband, a good father. Oops, that is about the father, so underline, he was a good husband, a good father. I don't understand it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe that it happened. I saw it happen, but it isn't true. It can't be. He was always gentle. If you'd see him playing with the children, anybody who saw him with the children would have known that there wasn't any bad in him, not one mean bone. When I first met him, he was still living with his mother over near Spring Lake, and I used to see them together, the mother and the sons, and think that any young fellow that was that nice with his family must be one worth knowing. Then one time when I was walking in the woods, I met him by himself coming back from a hunting trip. He hadn't got any game at all, not so much as a field mouse, but he wasn't cast down about it. He was just larking along, enjoying the morning air. That's one of the things I first loved about him. He didn't take things hard. He didn't grouch and whine when things didn't go his way. So we got to talking that day, and I guess things moved right along after that, because pretty soon he was over here pretty near all the time. And my sister said, see, my parents had moved out the year before and gone south, leaving us the place. My sister said, kind of teasing, but serious, well, if he's going to be here every day and half the night, I guess there isn't room for me. And she moved out, just down the way. We've always been real close, her and me. That's the sort of thing that doesn't ever change. I couldn't ever have got through this bad time without my sis. Well, so he come to live here, and all I can say is it was the happy year of my life. He was just purely good to me, a hard worker, never lazy, and so big and fine looking. Everybody looked up to him, young as he was. Lodge meeting nights, more and more often they had him to lead the singing. He had such a beautiful voice, and he'd lead off strong, and the others following and joining in, high voices and low. It brings the shivers on me now to think of it, hearing it. Nights when I'd stayed home from meeting, when the children was babies, the singing coming up through the trees there, and the moonlight, summer nights, the full moon shining. I'll never hear anything so beautiful. I'll never know a joy like that again. So let's go back and make sure we underline. So underline that describes him. So he was always gentle. Wasn't any bad in him, not a mean bone in his body. That nice with his family must be one worth knowing. He didn't take things hard. He didn't grouch when things didn't go his way. So a lot of descriptions here. It helps to do this as you're reading. And if we keep going, he had such a beautiful voice, purely good to me, a hard worker, never lazy, and so big and fine looking. Okay, those are awesome things about him. Then we need to circle or highlight something bad is going to happen. So right here we can tell, I don't understand it. I don't believe in it. I saw it happen, but it can't be true. Right? Then I couldn't ever have got through this bad time without my sis, and I'll never know a joy like that again. I'm going to go to the text box because we have to put in the margin what happens in order. So the first thing that happens is they meet in the woods. The second thing that happens is he moves in, and then the sister moves out. Everything else is just extra explanation to kind of build up the story and give you some background information and some context. All right, from here, you're then going to go to number 2. It says reread lines 1 through 16 and think about how the narrator describes her husband. What do you learn about her character? Support your answer with text evidence. So notice that the actual question is, what do you learn about her character? So this isn't about the husband, it's what we learned about her. So if we look back at lines 1 through 16, she talks about being a good father, gentle, not a mean bone, nice with his family, didn't take things hard. So we can tell that family is really important to her, and that being, calm, nice demeanor is important to her as well, based on the things she's talking about. So here's one way that we could write our answer. Okay. So the reader can tell that the wife values family and compassion. She mentions how, and we're going to go back and pick our evidence, how the husband was always gentle, and let's see here, right, let's change this, was a good husband and always gentle. Right, this helps us see, good husband helps us see that she values family, and always gentle helps us see she values compassion. Then we need to cite our evidence. So in parentheses, I'm going to put the author's last name, Lee Gwynn, and then I need to put the page number. So if I look, this is page 3. So 3, close parentheses, period. So not a super long answer, but it's definitely to the point. My evidence is short and sweet, just a few words. So whenever you go through, you want to answer your questions like this, with the her last name in parentheses and the page number. Now, as you read lines 32 through 58, you're going to underline text that hints something bad is going to happen, highlight text that describes changes in the husband's behavior, and then note what the narrator experiences directly in the margin. So you'll start back right here, annotate, 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 and then do number 4. Once you finish number 4, you can find number 5, read those lines, and do the ask you to do. And it's that same process. You're going to answer all these questions. Then I help you with the prompt here. Don't look at it yet, it will spoil it for you. After you finish reading, you're going to fill out this chart. So it's telling you to look at lines 1 through 70, and it's asking you how do they act, being the husband and the wife, how do they interact with each other, and what motivates them. So I'm going to go ahead and help you with this first husband box. Then you're going to do the wife box by yourself. Then you'll look at lines 71 through 100. How is the husband acting? Evidence. How is he interacting with his wife? Evidence. And then do the same thing for the wife. And then do it for the last section, those 3 questions. So let's look at what this would look like as an example. So for your thoughts, this is just you putting it in your own words. So I think he's a good, caring hubby. My text evidence would be he was a good husband, a good father. That was line 1. I'm going to put the line number here to help me find it again later. I'm going to make this smaller so it fits. So it's okay if you write it big, and then you can make it smaller, and I can always make it bigger if I need to, but I can read that if it's 12-point font, I can read it. Then, how do they interact? Well, he's keeping secrets in lines 1 through 70, right? He's keeping secrets. You'll see. Then, he goes off all alone. That's line 41. I hope you're getting excited about reading this. Then we can tell what motivates him is his family and community. You'll see this in the next section. So everybody looked up to him. And that happens in lines 24. So you will continue working through and continue filling out the chart just like this. Then, once you've finished all your annotations, you're going to end the chart at the bottom. You'll click Submit. Shows not done. You click the Submit button. It will save to Google Drive. And then it's submitting. Now it's submitted. If you need to make any changes, you have to click Unsubmit first. And then don't forget to resubmit it. You know that you're set and it's all done when it says done right here. You'll be good to go.